Fluent CRM is a tool that I talk about often here on the channel, and it's just what it says it is. It's a CRM. And CRMs are oftentimes used for sales prospecting. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what prospecting is, why you should do it, and 3 ways that you can use Fluent CRM to help accomplish that goal. And then there's also kind of a bonus that I want to share with you that I think is pretty exciting as well about a future update coming to Fluent CRM. So it's all here on the channel here. The channel is Funnel Talk. I'm Steve Schramm. We help you build high converting sales funnels using WordPress. We don't need to use other tools. We don't need to plug in a separate email provider. We don't need a standalone tool like ClickFunnels or, Deadline Funnels or whatever other tool there is. We can do everything right here inside of WordPress using the tools and plugins that we're familiar with. And these things are great. Development on these plugins gets better every single day. And so I'm just excited to be on the forefront of helping to share them with you. All right, let's take a look at Fluent CRM. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about sales prospecting. What is sales prospecting? Well, very simply, it is the act of finding prospects to sell to. Okay. So the idea with sales prospecting is you're looking for people, you're looking to identify people who would be interested in potentially purchasing your product. Now, in digital marketing, there are a few ways that you could actually go about doing this. And most often, well, maybe I shouldn't say most often, but one way that you could do this is through a lead magnet, through actually trying to attract leads to you. Another way that you could do this is through outbound. So those are kind of the two primary ways of marketing, right? Inbound and outbound. And those sort of transcend the boundary between digital marketing and traditional marketing. Of course, we talk about digital marketing here on this channel. So that's what we're going to focus on. So let's talk first about how you might use Fluent CRM in a situation where you're doing manual prospecting, you're doing manual sales outreach, okay? So if we look at Fluent CRM and we go to our contacts, what we see here is the list of contacts that are subscribed. Now, what we can do is we can organize those contacts by lists and by tags, and then we can view those contacts as well and filter them by different ways to see who's subscribed, who's unsubscribed, who's pending, who's bounced, who's complained, etc. And we can even add other columns here that would probably be pretty useful when it comes to manual prospecting. For example, we may want to add the source, okay? So we go here, save, boom. We may want to go ahead and add the source for that, and then we can go in and maybe manually change that and say, okay, well, maybe this source was from LinkedIn or something of that nature, okay? So what you can do, move me out of the way here, is you can come down here and you can look at a current contact, and you can see all of this information that you have at your disposal. This is sort of the standard and basic information that you get down here that you can enter. And then as you look across here, you get more that you can do. Okay, you can see some things about the user and the way that they have interacted with you. You can look at the emails that have been sent to them. You can check out the purchase history. This directly integrates with WooCommerce. So all your WooCommerce sales will show up right here. So you can kind of get a sense for the value of a subscriber right from your Fluent CRM dashboard. Form submissions as well. You can see any submissions that were done if you're using Fluent Forms. And then notes and activities down here, you can actually come in here and add a new note. Now see, this is really handy because when you're doing manual prospecting work, a lot of times you are keeping notes on the people that you are trying to reach out to. And so right here, it uses the built-in WordPress editor. You can come in here and create notes on your prospects. That way, you and anybody else who happens to be using the CRM is also able to see what's going on with that particular contact. So if you're doing manual prospecting, you're definitely going to want to use this to keep track of that. And maybe you didn't know that Fluent CRM, because it is an email tool, it does have some of these CRM features like being able to add in notes and activities. If you look here, this is powerful. So type. You can change this from just a note to a call or to a meeting or to quote sent or to quote refuse. You see, it's actually very, very powerful. And this is related to the bonus I wanted to share with you. So I'll just share that now. My understanding is that the guys at Fluent CRM are working on actually building this out into a full scale CRM tool. So, not only will it include the great features that it has already that help us do email marketing, not only does it already have these great tools with notes and activity where you can do some manual prospecting, but they are working on adding even more features to make this more like a fully functional CRM where you can take people from the beginning to the end of your sales process, even if you do it manually. So that is a pretty exciting development as far as I'm concerned. And so I can't wait to see what comes of that. Now, if we go here and we want to say add a new contact, what we do is we come back to contacts and we come over here to where it says add and we hit add. So again, right here is where we can just choose all of this basic information. And then we have identifiers down here so we can add our particular lists. Now, there is a way as well to add custom fields and custom information if there's something, say, that you want to track that goes a little bit beyond what they include right here. So let me show you about how to add that right now. So what you're going to do is come over here to custom contact fields. All right. So again, settings, custom contact fields. And here's the information. So we're going to add field type. What is it? So check it. We have all these options. We can add date and time. We can add multi-line text, single line text, a numeric field. So how about we do something like this? Why don't we say numeric field, and we're going to label this contact touch. Okay. In marketing terms, especially outbound marketing terms, a touch is considered just it could be an email, could be a call. How many times has that person been touched? So we want it to be a numeric field so we can identify that numerically, and we're going to say a contact touch. So hit add. There we go. We now have it. So what we can do is go back to our contacts here, and we can view our contact. And now we see in custom profile data that we now have a contact touch field. Okay, so what we can do is come right here and give that a 1. Okay, so they've had one contact touch, and maybe every person comes in here and incrementally updates that. So the next person puts a 2. Okay, next person maybe puts a 3. Okay, and so that's how many touches we have that we're recording before they become a customer. So that's just an example of how you could use Fluent CRM for manual prospecting. Now, the second way that you'd want to use CRM when it comes to prospecting is to use it as a follow-up funnel inside of a lead magnet sequence. So perhaps what you want to do is add a lead magnet to your website so that you can send Facebook ads to it or even send organic traffic to it. And what this lead magnet will do is give something of value to people who you would find valuable to be on your email list. So it's a pretty simple formula. Pretty much everybody does this now, but the idea is create a landing page, put that landing page on the internet and drive traffic to it. Okay. After they enter their email inside of that, and just to kind of give you an example, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, let me go to my website. This is my agency site. And when you get here, as you scroll down, you see that we've got this guide here, the 5 mistakes most people make when building a new website and how to avoid them. By the way, if you want to get that guide, all you have to do is go to 5mistakesguide.com. Okay. So we're going to click here to get the guide. And now this opens up a pop-up here where people can put in their information to actually get the free guide. Now, once they click on this and they get the guide, where I bring them into is Fluent CRM. Okay. And at this point, I'm now using Fluent CRM as the follow-up funnel to this guide. So none of the marketing beyond this necessarily happens on the website, other than, if they look at the sales page for my services, they could do that. But the actual selling of the item is going to happen in the back end using my Fluent CRM funnel. Now, there are a couple of ways to go about this, but traditionally what you're going to do, if we go here back to our funnel dashboard and we go to automations, you're going to run an automation of some sort. And what you're probably going to want to start with is using some sort of a sequence. All right. So there is a difference between automations in FluentCRM and sequences in FluentCRM. These are two different things. And automation tells people where to go, or it doesn't really tell people necessarily, it could, but primarily it tells the software where you want people to go and when. That's an automation. A sequence is a specific sequence of emails that are sent. For example, maybe you have an email course and that makes up your lead magnet follow-up funnel, or maybe you just want to indoctrinate them into your world. And so you send them 5 emails over 5 days that progressively tells your story and why you want to help them. Maybe you do something like that, okay? And so that's how you can use that to actually do lead prospecting with Fluent CRM. Now, the way to really make this a prospecting effort is to make something for sale in the course of the funnel, right? So perhaps, again, if you're integrating with WooCommerce, which Fluent CRM integrates with automatically, you don't even have to do anything additional to set it up, which is pretty cool. What you're going to do is you might set up a sales page in WooCommerce for one of your products. And what you want to do is identify your buyers, okay? So you identify your leads by the lead magnet, but you identify your buyers by offering them something within the automation funnel. And so you'll do that, again, by going to emails and then email sequences. And what you would want to do is create a sequence, okay? So here is a soap opera sequence, for example, that I have created. This uses the language of Russell Brunson's methodology here. So there's a kind of immediate email that gives them the download that they requested, and then there's a stage, a high drama, an epiphany, a hidden benefits, and a last call email that I write for that soap opera sequence, okay? Now, of course, this is just a tutorial site, so I don't have anything, anybody that has gone through these funnels, but that's besides the point, okay? So the idea here is that this is the order in which they are sent, and you can see that this one is sent 60 minutes after the starting point. This one is sent after 1 day from the starting point. The next one is sent 2 days from the starting point, so on and so forth. So I send this sequence of 6 emails in total over the course of 4 days. And that sort of brings people into my world and lets them know about who I am and how I can help. And so that's the kind of thing that you can do. And automation, okay, to contrast this, is just like this. With an automation, we might create new automation and we want to trigger it, okay? So we can have these different sorts of triggers: CRM, MemberPress, WooCommerce, or WordPress, or if you have other integrations installed, then you would use whatever other integration. It will show up over here as well. So we're going to start with CRM, and basically we're going to say that once a tag is applied, okay, then we'll move to the next step. So the idea is internal label here. So this is, we're just going to call this, let's see, lead magnet follow-up funnel, right? Because that's what this is, that's what we're teaching you in this method, okay? So lead magnet follow-up funnel, tag applied. This will run when selected tags have been applied to a contact. Okay, great. So now we're going to hit continue. Okay, now it gives us our additional settings here. So lead magnet follow-up funnel, what tags, okay? Well, we're going to just say tag 1, okay? So we're going to apply tag 1 whenever somebody comes through, or what we want is whenever somebody gets applied at tag 1, we want to send them further down the train in this funnel, okay? And so it's like, well, when do we want to run? Do we want to run it when they're added to any of the selected tags or all? So in other words, we could make it conditional. If I wanted them to be in tag 2 as well, and I said this, then they would have to be applied to tag 1 and tag 2. So those are 2 conditions that they have to meet in order to be considered a prospect for me. I could do it that way. For this case, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to remove that one and go back to right here. Contact added in any of the selected tags. This condition right here is the final one before we move into the actual funnel, and it says restart the automation multiple times for a contact for this event. Only enable if you want to restart automation for the same contact. If you don't want automations to restart for the same contact, then just leave this unchecked. And again, they give you an even further description down here on what that is and why you would use it. All right. So if we're happy with our settings to this point, we just save settings. There we go. All right, so here it is, our lead magnet follow-up funnel. Now take note that this is still in draft mode, okay? In order for this to start actually working, you're going to have to come over here and hit draft, and then you're going to want to hit stats right there in order to see what is happening at different phases of the funnel. But if that muddies it up for you, then you can just certainly uncheck that. Okay, so all we have so far is the condition that we set up, and that is something is going to happen whenever we get tagged with tag 1, okay? Now what we want to do is hit the plus, and now you see we have just a ton of additional things that we could do. I love this screen. It makes me giddy just to see all of the bits of action that we can actually take when it comes to working within our funnels. You notice here, there's an add nodes and activity. You can even combine some of your digital marketing and your your inbound and your outbound methods of marketing together, which is actually really, really cool. In this case, we want to do something really, really simple. What we want to do, and notice these are some cool options. You can even, if you guys are WordPress fans, which I know you are because you're watching this, look, you can change the user role based on just contact conditions that happen. It's really incredible. You can update their user meta right here. So cool. What we want to do though is just set a sequence email. Okay, so we're going to do that, set sequence email, and then we just select which one. Well, we want to do the soap opera sequence, okay? Very good. And then, of course, this question right here again is just, do we want to restart it if they already exist in the sequence? And for these purposes, we're going to say no. So we're just going to hit save. And basically that's it. Now you could come right here and say end this funnel here and save settings. There you go. And so there's the idea. Lead magnet follow-up funnel. They come in, they do the lead magnet, then they get sent right into your sequence, and then there's no further action going to be taken. They can just simply drop out and then go into another funnel. You could create another automation with another follow-up funnel and go into something entirely different. So that's the second way, which is the lead magnet follow-up funnel. And then the second or third way, rather, that you could use this for lead prospecting is just as its own self-contained funnel. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's just say that we were going to start a brand new automation. So we'll go back to automations and we'll say new, and we will say member press funnel. Okay. Let's say that we have a membership maybe, and we want our users to go through a funnel that teaches them how to start a membership, and we're going to pitch them our own membership. All right. What we might do is, now this is very similar to number 2, but with a distinct difference. The difference here is that the email really is the funnel itself. Okay. It's not just emails pushing you back into a funnel. Remember I said in the second example that a lot of times you might want to create like a WooCommerce product or something to push people to from the funnel in order to go ahead and start to see who your buyers are. Okay. In this, we are using this email automation as the funnel. Okay. So what we might do is say, something like this. So maybe they have, maybe you want to create an email course, okay? And again, that could be handled via a sequence. Again, I said it was very similar. So you could create a email sequence that was the five mistakes most people make when building a membership website. Okay, the 5 mistakes most people make when building a membership website. So what you might do is say tag applied here. So again, it's going to start when a tag is applied, and maybe that tag is for our purposes, we're not going to add a new one, but tag 1, just pretend that said something like interested in memberships. Okay, interested in memberships. That's what it says. We're going to hit save settings, and there we go. So this is what happens when somebody comes in and they're interested in a membership. Now, how do they get onto that list? How do they get into that tag? Maybe they've signed up, they've given their email on the homepage for a email course. You've said something like, hey, sign up for my free email course here. And again, you give the name, 5 mistakes most people make when building a membership website, and they sign up for that. And now from there, you create an automation that does all of the selling. Okay, so once we're here, again, what you would probably want to do is go, since I just showed you this, I'm not going to show you again, but what you would do is you go back to email sequences, you'd create an email sequence, and then after they got on that list, by signing up and raising their hand saying, yes, I would like to have that free course, then you send them that free course in the sequence of the email, and then you push them to a member press registration page or something like that in order to go ahead and get into your membership that is teaching memberships. All right. So those are just 3 examples of how to use Fluent CRM in a way that helps you prospect and get leads for your business. Again, prospecting is all about identifying those people who would be a good fit for the products or services that you have. And really, the only way to identify them is to offer them things. Okay, so however you're going about this, you need to be able to use this tool to track how and when you are offering things to them. And if they're never taking you up on it, then eventually they just need to be deleted and purged from the list and given opportunities later on to get back into your funnel if they are interested in it. If they joined, it's obvious that and they're not taking any action over the course of a certain period of time, it may become obvious to you that they're not really interested in it. So you may drop them out and then let them sign up later on if they become interested later on. That way, you're not doing extra work and muddying up your database of emails. You might want to keep that clean and crisp and high quality. So that's what I have for you today here on Funnel Talk. Again, if you like what you see, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Hey, I would ask you, if you love what you see with Fluent CRM and you think that giving Fluent CRM a try would be beneficial for you, then I would highly encourage you to check out Fluent CRM and go get it. We have an affiliate link if you wouldn't mind using that. It's just funneltalk.co/Fluent CRM, and I would love for you to check that out. And if you would, I will send you something. Okay, I'll give you a free gift if you just send me your receipt after you have went ahead and submitted that. All right. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.